Hi, everybody.
Hello.
Hi.
So happy to have all of you here with us today. We are excited to have a rejuvenated partnership with the Laurel Small Business Development Center, and we're super excited to have Andy Gyurisin here with us today. Our Business Development Committee through the Chamber is working really hard to bring relevant programming to our local small businesses, and we've got some really good ones scheduled with Andy. We've got, Janet has left the room for a minute, but, oh, there she is. Janet Michael's going to do a Canva presentation with us soon, coinciding with our nonprofit group. And we've got things planned, so we're really excited about it. But today, we're going to talk AI with Andy. And Andy, we're so pleased to have you here, and we appreciate your time and your effort, and we're really looking forward to it. And thank you, Mike McCool, for being here to record this session. We look forward to it.
I am looking forward to it as well, which maybe not something you want everyone to say right before they give a presentation, but it's what I wanted to get one thing queued up because it's kind of unique. So first of all, thank you, Nikki. I'm so excited about the opportunity to be here in front of all of you today. You know, I think we have a tool out there right now that everyone should be using to make their small businesses work smarter and not harder. That's the whole key for all of this. I'm going to talk a lot, and oftentimes I get excited and I yell, and sometimes that's just me making sure you don't doze off on me. I don't have any handouts. We have a survey at the end that we just need you to fill out. However, if you see me afterwards and give me a card or your email address, something with it on there, I can share this with you. So you've got it. But this is really an exciting element. First and foremost, I'm really proud to have funding come from our Warren County EDA to support the Small Business Development Center. We had received funding for many years from the Warren County, but it was just a little bit. We were able to do what we could. Now we have more, and we're able to be a more robust presence here. So if you have small businesses that need support, if you are a small business owner yourself, don't hesitate to reach out to Dale Meza or I. Dale is over here. We can meet you here at the Chamber, at your business, or we can meet up at the community college as well. So like Nikki said, my name is Andy Gyurisin. I'm the director over at the Small Business Development Center. I grew up here, not in Front Royal, but I grew up in Winchester. I went to Andy High School, and my wife and I owned a Winchester book gallery in downtown Winchester for many years. I did also work for the Small Business Development Center under a gentleman by the name of Bill Surlaw, and then I went and ran marketing, networking, and outreach for the Durandis family at Glenwood Draft House. Anyone remembers the green turtle that was there? And then, no, I like that theme music.
I'm still learning this phone. I'm trying to turn the volume off. I apologize.
You are good. That's AI right there, learning. And then came back, raised money with the community college through the foundation, and came back with the Small Business Development Center. So every door that has been presented to me has helped me reach to this point. And I want to thank you all for making this a big memory of mine, by the way, today. My presentations are unique. I never give the same presentation twice. I made this presentation specifically for all of you. When the presentation is done, after I share it out, I throw it away. This technology is changing rapidly, and there's no need for me to repeat what we've done before. So what you all are about to experience is something no one else has experienced ever before, and no one else will ever again. So just so that's the uniqueness of this presentation. So I must begin by saying these words. And maybe they'll startle you. I don't think they will. These are my notes. I just got to make sure I keep on track. I will often go off track, and so this keeps me there. Welcome to the revolution is what I'd like to begin with. Those words can feel startling, they can feel rejuvenating, they can mean something new is happening, but the truth is we are on the cusp of something enormous when it comes to AI. Imagine yourselves as small business owners competing against a company that knows what its customers want before they do. Something that automates marketing, tracks inventory in real time, answers customers at midnight, and makes smarter decisions while you, the owners, are sleeping. That company is using AI. That is the current trend right now. And I'm going to show you today, here in Front Royal at the Chamber, that you can be that company as well. So that's kind of our goal for today. The vision is not that far off. It's happening right now. In fact, if you go across the state of Virginia, you're going to be finding that there are millions and thousands of companies that are actually using AI right now, that we often thought that it was just used in Silicon Valley. But our rural, more mom and pop resellers, retailers, and businesses are using it more frequently than you can imagine. You don't need millions of dollars. You don't need a team of engineers. Here are the things that you need: curiosity, clarity, and a willingness to experiment with it. You have to be open to this idea. And it's not just about keeping up. For your businesses, it's about setting the pace and how you want to grow and use this. AI tools are changing the way that business innovation have been used and seen in a way that we've never experienced it before. An entrepreneur, a solo entrepreneur, can access the same automation right now that a Fortune 500 company. I have an SBDC counterpart in Charlottesville, Virginia. They have a program they use AI with where a person can come in and 2 hours later they leave with a working bag. And that used to be that you had to invest thousands of dollars into someone doing that for you. Now it's at your fingertips right there. And so it's that same automation that a Fortune 500 company pays millions of dollars for that you have. Local cafe owner can outmarket a franchise by using AI to analyze customer reviews and tailor promotions based on those reviews. Power is shifting. Small businesses are poised to win. So I want you to think of AI as not a threat. We often use those words together when something new is coming out there. AI is going to take jobs. AI is going to eliminate some of the heart or heartbeat of our company. Incorrect. It is not here as a threat or as a mystery. The way that we are pivoting and looking at AI is they are your next employee that you have for your company. Incredibly capable, fast learning, always available. It's an asset for your company right now. And with the right mindset and a little bit of practice, this employee will change your business forever. And here's the best part. You don't have to understand technology at all to really use it. You only need to understand your business, and then AI will connect the rest, which is the really smart part. That's my big introduction for you all right there. Hopefully I'm not scared you. Not one person has thrown their chair off and walked out. So I think that we're doing good so far. And this is sort of where I was pointing to. It's not already here. We are setting the pace. I should have clicked my slide earlier. I don't do well with slides. I apologize. So why AI and why now? So the big statistic to think about is 77% of businesses are using AI currently. If you have a neighbor right now that's saying, or let me put it maybe a little bit better. If you have a neighbor right now that's not even talking about AI with their business, they're probably using it. And they just don't want to tell you because they don't want you to use that same stuff as well. They want to be ahead of it all right there. 70% of small businesses per Salesforce right now is saying that AI is saving them time, is basically what it is. And we at the Small Business Development Center will often tell people, what are the 3 tasks that you hate doing every day with your job? And can AI do those so that you can be doing the things that you want to be doing? Networking, meeting clients, working with individuals, whatever that may end up being. Joining the chamber, whatever it may end up being, right? So, McKinsey came up with this statistic, and I thought it was really impressive because this came out, I think, early part of last week. Generative AI alone is expected to add $4.4 trillion to the economy over the next 5 years, is what they're saying. So that is an enormous amount of funds that this is planning to do. And so basically what we want to say is that it's not science fiction anymore. And I was at this event in Strasbourg a couple of days ago, and someone was like, AI, what if it becomes smarter than us and starts driving our cars? And I just sort of looked at him and said, it's happening.
It's happening now. If you go out to LA, they have self-driving cars. In my car, which is a Subaru at 21, I have a button I can press and I can let go of the wheel. That is happening right now. Over 3/4 of businesses are already using. Time saving is just the beginning. They are using AI right now to scale and grow. And so we're really talking about intelligent automation, language generation, predictive insights that is shifting. It's not a bubble, but it's shifting. So we'll keep using a little bit more examples. Retail businesses, 60% of surveyed businesses are using AI to draw higher conversion rates over the next 6 months. In service-based businesses, chatbots are resolving up to 80% of customer queries, especially those who, we think of ourselves as 9-to-5 businesses, but that's also the same time I work. So basically they're helping you respond to folks who are at home thinking about using your services. It's also been freeing up time for all of you to be able to do even more. Even in ag, we just did an ag and AI seminar a couple of days ago. So AI right now is helping farmers detect crop disease, optimize irrigation so they're not overwatering, and saving money and boosting yields right now. So it's an enormous, and they're using AI and technology to bring a younger generation into the ag field, which is normally seen as a certain age demographic right now. So right now, AI is also rewriting the rules of customer behavior. Gen Z, millennials, what's the big one that we've got right now? Generation Alpha, that's the next one coming up around the bend. They'll all already use AI at this point in time. And so we are thinking to ourselves like, oh, I've never used AI. Well, if you've ever used a Netflix, what is it? If Netflix has made a recommendation to you, that is AI. If you've ever gone on your phone and your phone has completed your sentence for you, that is AI as well. So we are using it as we talk. And so Netflix, Spotify, Amazon, these all big companies are using it. And so why can't we use that same technology as well? And so barriers to entry have completely fallen apart. And again, mentioning that Silicon Valley, the questions we need to be asking is how will AI impact our business? And the bigger question is, will you shape how it does? What are you going to be doing to change that business? All right. Look at first of all, I love a few of these. I don't know if any of my pictures actually relate to this, but I was like, I love this picture. So I just went ahead. AI is only for tech giants. That is a myth. AI tools are built for everyone. You need code to use AI. Most tools are no code, they're plug and play. So we just need to make sure that we're aware of that. Shopify, Wix, Canva, Zoom, almost all of these have AI technologies built into them now. And again, you're probably using it without even really knowing that. AI, and here's the big thing that I'd like to talk a little bit about. So AI is constantly coming up against that it will take jobs. And what we're actually seeing right now is that AI is taking tasks, repetitive, low-value tasks, and freeing up the business owners and employees to focus on creative, strategic, and the human side of work. So if you think about it, what used to take me with the bookstore, maybe 2 to 3 hours to do a week's worth of social media posts, AI can now make that so it's 20 minutes. If you're a nonprofit in the room, at no point should a grant writing take the 6 hours that it used to take anymore. Well, grant writing now using AI should take maybe an hour, and most of that time is just making sure the data is correct that you've got within your grant writing. But these tasks that used to take hours upon hours are now being cut into much smaller portions. And in fact, this is from Forbes last year, 64% of small businesses saying AI has enhanced and not actually replaced their workforce. So that's a huge myth that we sort of want to bust right there. And then, of course, what is my favorite one? What if AI does something I didn't ask it to? Like, I don't know, cook a meal for me or something like that. And so what we just need to realize that it's not this runaway robot. Hollywood has sort of implanted that into our heads for years and years and years. You are in charge. It is based on prompts that you feed it. the train that you provided. It is a tool. It is a tool. That's the phrase we want to remember right there. Yes.
I just want to tell you, I still say please and thank you to AI, just
Yes.
in case you're wrong.
Well, first of all, that's the way we were raised. That's the way we were raised. I still say thank you and then give it some things, but that's because I assume sometimes I forget I'm not texting my dad or something. So the goal isn't perfection, it's acceleration. By understanding what AI can do and can't do, we demystify the technology and start focusing on outcomes. You don't need to become an AI expert, just become an AI strategist within your own business. So let's talk about like the tools for AI. What does your toolkit look like? So AI upon AI is the biggest one that we've got that most people are aware of course, ChatGPT. The free service of ChatGPT is available for you. You can download it on your phone. You can start asking it questions right now and anything along those lines. There's also additional tools depending on the sector or market that you're in. Marketing, design, ops, service, and hiring. I've put a few of these there. You can obviously take a picture and look into this a little bit more. I can share this out so you do it. The best thing to do is just look into each of these. Most of them will have a cost associated with it as well, and so you'll just need to figure out which one fits best within your business. And if you still have your old EDU account, some of them may be free as well, because oftentimes for college students, some of these are free, especially when you get into the design element to it. But be aware, we're still at the early stages of AI. So if you go into some of these things and you ask it to do something and you have a vision of something in your head, I don't know if you're necessarily going to see that vision come out. It's going to be a version of that vision, but you will have to continually manipulate and update it. This idea that you just plug something in there and it will come up with exactly what you're thinking is no longer the case. No longer is currently not the case for this year. Maybe for next year we'll get into it. Anyone here who's using MailChimp, obviously they now offer AI-generated subject lines that boost open rates. The whole point of some of these things is just how are we working smarter so that we can enhance the tools that we're currently using. Canva Magic Design, that's one of the ones up here that we've got. Lets you upload a photo and instantly generate social posts for your brand's style. Firefly can create custom illustrations. Perfect for entrepreneurs who want to level up their design game. Zapier AI can connect your apps and automate workflows. I have a gentleman that I work with right now that has not answered an email in 6 months. He has AI responding to all of his emails so that he can be doing other things out into the world. The way that he has it set up is that it responds with, why don't we schedule a meeting, and then they get into his calendar, and then he meets with that individual or. So it's less of him having to respond with these little things and getting people onto his calendar that can work. Standard operating procedures, most of those are being generated by AI these days. Tidio and chatbot.com, those are your customer service bots. Paradox AI can help you screen out resumes and conduct first-round interviews. They have a chatbot named Olivia, and so, I don't know. Like Nikki said, perhaps you want to give your AI a name. You're welcome to do that. We have a professor at community college that every night spends an hour just talking to his chat GPT and has given it a name and it remembers him and all of these sort of things. He's written a book. It's called In Bed with My Chat GPT. It's something along those lines. So, and again, the key is improving results. And I think this is...
So you really need to talk to him.
This is a Strasbourg business owner, a solo entrepreneur that's just getting started. And she met with me about a month ago, and she sent me this link. She said, Andy, can you give me a review?
We're looking at something called narrative accounting. It's a way to understand business finances that goes, beyond just the numbers on a page.
Right.
We're going to explore how one company, Golden Ledger Consulting, uses this interesting approach to help small business owners really get a grip on their financial story.
Exactly. And if you ever felt maybe a bit lost looking at financial reports or just wondering what all those spreadsheets actually mean for your business day to day, this is definitely for you. our mission today using info from Golden Ledger Consulting?
She had AI look onto our website and create a 10-minute podcast. None of that is real. That was all information created using an AI program that she used. So if you have ever found yourself wanting to say, I would love to do a podcast, but I don't know if I want to invest the money, I don't know if I have the time, let me give it a try, AI is a resource that's available for you to make that work. And put this product out there. And we had this debate at the last session that I was at, where someone was like, does that not take away the heart of what I'm doing? But to be truthful, you have to give them the prompts to make this work. It's not just going to create it out of thin air. It is your soul and your vision and your heart that's going into this. It's just making things move faster and quicker without you having to spend hundreds and hundreds of dollars for something maybe that you choose to do or something that you don't want to do after you do the first one, that sort of thing. So I thought that that was really, it's happening in our backyards currently right now. Your job's going to be fine. Don't worry about that.
Well, I'm trying to figure out hundreds and hundreds of dollars. It costs $15 to buy a mic and an iPhone.
Well, first of all, it does not cost $15 for an iPhone, by the way.
No, for a mic and your.
But yes, but I mean, it does cost a few $100s at the bare minimum. $25 a month is what I'm paying for my phone. I just thought that was really interesting, and I think as you think about what AI can do, the best thing that I can always tell you to do is go into ChatGPT, write in, do two things. First thing is say, this is what my business is. What can you do for me to help improve my business? And see what the results are that come up. I was in Strasbourg, like I said, I've already mentioned this a few days ago, and one of the real estate agents typed into GPT, I am a person looking to buy a house in Strasbourg. Which real estate agent do I use? And the first one that ChatGPT mentioned was actually her. Now, it was her ChatGPT, so maybe it was connecting the dots in some form or another, but I would look into to see what your business is doing. The last 2 quarters, Google has seen a decline. First time ever Google has seen a decline in usage because of AI resources. And of course now they have their own AI, and so they're using that as their sort of basis. But you are seeing that Alpha, Gen Z, a little bit of those millennials using AI as their search tools and for their search engines. And so what will be interesting and what we are seeing, if you use any sort of analytics on your websites right now, I would look to see where some of the results are coming from. We are starting to see more and more coming from ChatGPT, coming from some of the AIs, resources coming from that way. And so I will always say, make sure that you are using some of these resources, make sure you're marketing correctly, and that you're at the top of line with all of that. So obviously we have tons of success stories in Virginia that are happening right now. I reached out to my friends across the state. Stanton, business owner, uses it every week to create social media content, recipes, images, and promotions. There's this bakery down there that does it. Their online engagement, the counselor told me, has doubled in 3 months, drawing more locals, surprisingly, because that was their focus, than tourists, because their goal was trying to bring more people in from the local area. And so if you are finding yourself spending so much time on social media, this is a great tool. There is a used bookstore, Shenandoah County, that turned to ChatGPT to write compelling blurbs for rare books, increasing the sales of those books by 45% is what we saw. And so if you are an employee of one, but you have a bookstore, but you want to put blurbs out there, use that as the opportunity that we've got. And again, it made those stand out a little bit. There's an HVAC company in Loudoun County right now that uses AI scheduling and dispatch tools to make sure that their employees are at the place they need to be in a much more efficient way. These tools, per the counselor that I spoke with, cut back missed appointments and allowed the owner to reduce phone staffing hours by 30%, reallocating resources to growth and training of their current employees, which to me is really, really powerful.
in Warren County here. I'm not going to tell you who because we've got some confidentiality, but they did say they were on an Etsy shop and she uses Mid-Journey to create seasonal product mock-ups, Canva Magic to make her descriptions, and her product page is up by 60% right now using that resources right there. And so they're not just random stories that we found out there. These were people that we have worked with at our Small Business Development Center, as well as folks that through the network of folks that we had out here in Virginia. So how do you just get started? So like I mentioned before, this says 1, but I say 1 to 3 repetitive tasks. Literally the things you despise or don't want to do every day when you get up, start your business. Are you writing the same emails? Are you reposting the same content? Are you manually entering the same data into multiple systems? This is where AI has their sweetest spot. So find those repetitive tasks, have AI. Choose 1, choose 2, choose 3, and then explore your tool, ChatGPT for your newsletter, Canva Magic Design for your next flyer. Set aside as part of your business day 1 hour of AI training testing, just so that you're constantly learning and constantly up to date on what is going on. I would also, into Google, put some notifications on that say, give me some updates on any new news happening around the world of AI. And I have mine set up for small business and AI so that I can get all the newsletters that are happening on a regular basis that are coming our way. I want to go back to something I mentioned before, and I think this is really important. When you set aside an hour for AI testing or training for yourself, or better yet, for your employees, you're really sort of saying, like, you've got to really think of it as a training session. If you were to have 2 or 3 employees, if you've grown to that sort of level, but you don't have those employees, this is what you would end up doing with them anyways. So this gives you the opportunity to do it. Always ask it. This is the unique part about that we sort of have to change our minds for. So when we were always using Google or we were always using the technology, the internet, it would always be, this is what I'm searching for. This is what I need. With AI, what I find the best results to be is by saying, what can you do for me? What are the things that you can provide for my business and for me specifically to enhance? It has surprised me more than once on what its response is. Some responses, bonkers. Like, I don't even think it knew who I was. Instead, I had to be like, come on, like, we're friends, aren't we? But I think it will surprise you because what it's doing is pulling data from across the country through a variety of different search engines and that sort of thing, and coming up with ideas that other places have used. It's the things you would be doing, but instead it's presenting to you in a different way. And I really think that that's an impressive way to do it. Experiment with the free tools and tutorials. I will tell you this right now. You come and see me about anything, and you're like, I'm not sure I have the answer for this, or I don't know how to do it. Oftentimes, I will say to you, have you YouTubed it? And that has become more of a phrase than Google, because 1, I don't know if I have enough time to read everything, but I do have enough time to watch something. And most of the time that will walk me through the process. So YouTube is the big one. If you're not on either of those platforms, LinkedIn has a really good resource for it as well. It's called LinkedIn Learning, and they offer free AI training and that sort of thing as well through LinkedIn for using that. Vicki, you know the Chamber has an AI starter guide? I know the big US Chamber does. I don't know if you've pulled some of that down or not.
I've pulled some of it down,
Okay,
yeah,
okay.
yeah. And as we've been sitting here, I've been creating something similar with ChatGPT.
Look at this. Look at this. Work is getting done in the middle of the presentation.
Well, as you say things, I'm like, yeah. And I'm saying please and thank you.
Thanks you for that. But here's the thing I think Dale and I both want to make sure you're aware of. And this is why it's important for you to realize that our service is here for you. You're going to leave, you're going to try a few things out. You may get frustrated, you may find yourself in like a tit for tat with AI. Maybe you're not going to go to their Christmas party. I don't know what damage is going to be raising.
But at the end of the day, it's not just you. It's not just you trying to do this and then that's it. There are two resources that I can honestly say will work for you in this community. One is to remind you that your neighbors exist and that what the best thing to do is to walk up to them and say, hey, I'm trying to do this. Have you ever used this before? And learn from them. Learn from the people who are next to you. And two, Dale and I are here as well. And we are not people who are from Northern Virginia coming down here trying to understand what's going on in Warren County. We are two individuals who are in Warren County often, have grown up in this area, have been in this area, so we can provide that feedback for you as well. And so I think that that's really important. You're going to learn from AI, you're going to get some tools. If you get frustrated or if you get like, you know, AI is for some odd reason talking weird to me, come and talk to Dale and I will walk through it all later, certainly. You know, the key for it all is, this is easy. This is very similar to what I would almost tell you to do for like a marketing plan. And you think of AI as sort of like your next piece of your marketing right there. So what's your goal? What do you want AI to do? You would write that down. Don't just leave it up in your head. Write it down. And I wouldn't just say like, the last thing I would always say is like, think about Facebook. For years and years and years, we were in front of you saying, you need a Facebook page. You need to be able to market on Facebook. If you left that seminar and you opened a Facebook page and you did nothing, it was actually more of a disservice. Because if someone went to your Facebook page and saw one post from 1994, they would assume probably you're no longer there anymore, or anything like that. AI is the exact same way. I would not recommend just adopting AI to say that you've used AI. Make it a part of your business platform and model. Know what you want, make time to learn that, and then understand that you want, these are the things that I'm looking for. I need more time in my day. I have 100 emails coming in, I don't have time to go out to market and to network. How do I use AI to make sure I can get out and do what I want to do? I need stronger leads. I need people that are genuinely interested in my business. How can AI help me find those folks that are already warm to turn them into hot leads? And then honest reviews on Google right now. How can I use AI to increase the customer experience? Not necessarily to take away the heart and soul, but to give you ideas and to present some ideas and things that you maybe never even heard about. And you're like, this would work great for my customer base. Choose these tools, choose these AI platforms that I mentioned before that support that outcome. And be specific in your prompts. So we are a community of brevity, you know. Like, I want my AI just to show me how to make a donut. Fantastic. What you should be typing in there is I have a customer that is, you know, 35 years old, he has a gluten allergy, and I need to make a donut that really stands out. What should I make? You make that prompt a paragraph long so that you can use that information and it has the best information back. Like Nikki is mentioning, you will find yourself in conversation with AI. And it will seem awkward at first, but it is not going to jump out and take over your refrigerator. It is just going to keep learning from you. The most startling day of your life is when you are maybe using AI for a month, month and a half, and you type something in, and they remember something that you typed in a month and a half ago. You know, so it is constantly going to be updating and learning from what you're doing and changing so that it does it well. And that's the state of the world that we're in. And I think that that's amazing, by the way, that we have this tool to help us become stronger business owners. Another example, I wrote one down here, but I went beyond that. But you know, instead of just saying write a blog post, specific. Write a 300-word blog post for parents about healthy lunchbox ideas using 3 logical ingredients. Give it out, and it will spell it out for you. And if it doesn't, go back in and say, I need you to update this, I need you to change this, and adjust it a little bit. Nikki, you had a thought? I saw your head look over this way.
I always have thoughts, but I was just gonna say, Andy,
So for me, as you know, I used to hate writing press releases.
Sure.
And as a nonprofit director, press releases are, part of our jam, right? And so press releases are infinitely easier for me now. These two right here, my proofreaders, they don't get nearly the number of emails from me they used to, before that reason. But, you're teaching, but very much like you said, you're teaching AI how to talk for you.
Right.
And so while we were sitting here, I asked it, I said, as a seasoned Chamber of Commerce professional, what are 5 things that I should be saying to small business owners and entrepreneurs to encourage them to join the chamber?
Right.
And it spit out 5 of the most genius things that I knew, but I wouldn't have been able to put those into words.
Right.
So you guys will be seeing those on social media very soon. But prompts are really important.
Yeah.
Like when you're talking to AI, prompts are super important, telling it who you want it to be.
Yeah.
And so that it gives you that adequate,
Right.
yeah. So those are my thoughts. Ian.
And you have the free version of ChatGPT. There is a monthly
Yes.
fee version of, I think it runs right now about $20 for the monthly version. It is, again, a tool,
Right,
you can use
yes.
the free version without any problems. However, I would recommend looking into the paid version and putting that into your marketing strategy if it fits and that sort of thing.
Yeah,
But
and there's
again,
all sorts of them.
yes. But also, remember, it is a tool that could cause chaos. We were up at the Finger Lakes a couple of weeks ago. My wife and I like to drink wine. That's why Mike is recording this. And so, what do 2 middle-aged people like to do when they drink a little bit of wine? They go onto ChatGPT and ask questions. That's obviously the only thing we do. We were drinking a wine that had a quince in it. Couldn't for the life of me remember what a quince was. And so I asked ChatGPT and it told me what a quince was. And then, you've had a little bit of wine in you, and so you're like, I'd like a picture of my wife and I with a quince. And so it took a picture and created this cartoon animated picture of my wife Jen and I and this quince. And I was like, this is amazing. And I said I want it to be more photorealistic. Took a few minutes, and then it was the most scary picture I've ever seen before in my life that they've created. And then I was just like, take out this this quince and just have a picture of the 2 of us happy. And it, I don't know how, well I know how, but it put pictures of cats and the things that we like to do as hobbies. It made this picture. And then I said, do a picture where my wife Jen just looks the happiest as can be. Ladies and gentlemen, it came back with a picture of her in the arms of a different man. As happy as can be. So, check your resources. Not sure where they pulled that from. I'm not sure what we were doing that day, but that was what occurred. And I have to tell you, she looked extremely happy. I don't know what was going on. And I still have the picture if you ever want to see it.
Was it like a famous person or just a person?
It was
It's just a person.
It was some random dude that I was just like, how did it learn how to pick this guy? And then she was like, she had a glass of wine. They were in the desert somewhere. I don't know. It was extremely weird. Because we were using ChatGPT to we used it a lot to what wine should we drink? We were on a time frame. So we were like, what wine should we drink? What are the best wines to enjoy? What's the route that you take with all of this? I don't know, so I still have it up here, but I have to look through all my problems. But nonetheless,
That's really funny.
but just be aware that while it will give you information, you will need to check that information. We're not at the point where that information is 100% correct, and don't take it as 100% correct. Go back and do the research on it. And remember, it's not a substitute for your voice or your mission or your values. It is a tool. I want to keep repeating that. It is a tool. Let AI handle the tedious so that you can work on the meaningful. That's the key you want to take away with all of this. You can save your prompts as much as you want to on ChatGPT so that you can go back and reuse some of the best prompts that you've come up with, ones that have given you some of the best responses that you're happy with, and then down here at the bottom, give feedback. Don't just have AI provide an answer, then you're like, you say out loud or to your neighbor or your friend or your partner, oh, that was the worst, and then turn it over. Sit down with ChatGPT and say, this was not what I was looking for. Here's what I need you to do. And here's how I'm going to do it. And then if you're like Nikki, thank you very much for doing that.
Yeah, it does push back.
It will. What are we looking for on the cutting edge of AI right now? So oftentimes, here's where we are in the state of technology. If you were to say to me, Andy, I need to go to my desktop and pull something up, I will think that thing was run by a crank machine right now, like a desktop. That's the oldest idea. This laptop is almost an archaic piece of material at this point in time. The phone is really the resource that everyone is using right now for most small business needs. And so that's where we are in sort of like AI at this point in time has been out there and is part of the world. What are the next advances when it comes to AI? So voice AI is on the rise. 11 Labs can generate lifelike voiceovers for videos and phone menus. I think that's exactly what was used here. You can even build your own AI receptionist if you would need to. Visual search is changing e-commerce. Apps like Google Lens allow customers to search your products by snapping a photo. My wife and I, our hobby, what we like to do is go out to thrift stores and yard sales and buy things and flip them for a higher price. That's just what we do on eBay and that sort of thing. Oftentimes I see something, I have no clue what it is. I will use Google Image to be able to find out what that item is, and it gives me the price of what I'm looking for as well, like what I could potentially sell it for. AI video generation obviously is coming fast. You can't turn on the news right now without anyone saying like, is this real, is this not real? But you need to be aware that it's out there because others are using it and you want to be the one using it for it. AI for legal, accounting, and HR is emerging. This is actually really kind of an interesting conversation. I was talking to some folks at downtown Winchester, Harris. I don't want to say the word. Yeah, you probably just heard. I tutored some law firms down there, and they were talking about how the first 10 years of an attorney is basically research. So the world of an attorney is changing right now. That's 10 years worth of research, getting their dues and getting the fingers cut on paperwork is no longer the case. And so they're really going to start looking at what it means to be an attorney and what you would need to do using AI moving forward as an attorney, which is kind of unique. And so locally, they're looking at that now to figure out what's going on because these tools can draft contracts, monitor compliance, even predict cash flow dips based on past behavior. So there's a lot of things with HR, accounting, and legal that can happen on this side. And then of course, industry-specific AI is really big. Ag tools, we talked about that. I know some farmers already that are using apps like crazy on their phone to make sure that they're using AI to know when it's going to rain or when they predict it's going to rain or when the dry spells are coming so that they can water and correctly irrigate their fields. We're in fact even starting to see a few AI resources when it comes to our vineyards and wineries out there to make sure they're maximizing grape usage and grape storage. It's pretty impressive to sort of show all that. But again, that takes us to maybe the part that we all need to be aware of, which is the ethics and guardrails of AI. So it's powerful, but it is not neutral. So be thoughtful. Just because you can generate thousands of marketing emails doesn't mean you should if they aren't personalized or relevant. Check your outputs for bias, especially AI has been known to replicate societal stereotypes if not trained. Stay alert, especially in hiring or customer profiling if you're using AI for that. Just make sure you're checking for those biases. All right, I don't need to be the one to tell you, but copyright is still important. Do not find yourself just pulling things from the internet. We taught that for years and years when it came to Google. The same can be said for AI. And don't pass off AI-generated art as original without understanding licensing rights and being aware of that. So transparency matters. If you're using AI to respond to customer reviews or write job descriptions, just tell people. It's not secretive.
It is a tool that you're using to be successful. I use AI to write these messages. I use AI to maybe help put together this presentation. I use AI for a variety of things. You are using a tool that's out there. Build the trust from that individual by saying we did all of these things. Verify facts. I feel like I should have made this 50 point right there. Verify facts. I like that I wrote this down. I'm not, maybe I had some line. AI can hallucinate. Review content, test automations, and apply your human judgment. That's the key for AI right there. And then of course, I went ahead and put, maybe it'll pop up right, it looks like it blew up a little bit on me here, but your action plan, automate one task, test one tool, track the results, build your prompt list, and then, oh my gosh, shameless plug down here at the bottom, ask your SBDC for help. Does this look familiar to anyone? We were almost using this exact same thing when we were talking about social media, when we were talking about using Google 5, 7 years ago, 8 years ago. This is where we are today. AI is that new Google that we're out there. So again, to sort of like wrap this very loud conversation up, every business that's in this room right now is listening to this one-time only presentation has a choice. Here are the choices that you have. And I got excited. My wife was like, you better not say this out loud. I was like, I'm gonna say this out loud. You have these 3 choices, business owners. You can wait, you can worry, or you can work the opportunity. Those are the 3 that we have the opportunity for right there. If you wait, you can wait around, see what's gonna happen. But I will say that you'll be left behind and other people will be using this. You can worry. Oh my gosh, this thing's gonna take over my life. You can worry about that. Or we can use this as the opportunity to enhance and grow and become a cutting edge small business in our area. And you're not behind. If you're listening to me the first time and you're like, I'm gonna use ChatGPT, I'm gonna use AI for all of this, you're not behind. You're at the beginning of all of this. And businesses can lean in now to the ones and really start becoming the ones that others will start following in the future. And so it's really starting to think about where it's like AI is right in your hands, and it's not this, it's not Will Smith telling us this is how the world is going to end in any way, shape, or form. It's here, and it's most of the time it's 100% in our hands. So I would encourage all of you to go back to your business right now. Maybe spend an hour tonight. What do we like to do? We like to dual screen it. We'll watch TV and be on our phones at the exact same time. Dual screen, play around with ChatGPT. One of my favorite things is you could go to your pantry or go to your refrigerator and take a picture and say, oh, this is what I have. What do you recommend I make tonight for dinner? I'd make it even more fun and say I need 800 calories. And see what it comes up with as an option for it.
Does it ever tell you to just order a pizza?
It does not. But play around. What you will discover is that you don't know where it will be the most successful for you. And that's where this tool is going to be the best. Challenge it and allow it to surprise you. That's really what it is. And then, of course, I began this whole thing by saying, where was my whole line? Welcome to the revolution. You remember that because you chuckled, and then we were all nervous and scared as I said that right there. I'm going to end by saying, the revolution isn't coming, ladies and gentlemen. It is already here. You're holding the keys to success in your hands. My last few prompts, because I use ChatGPT on a regular basis, almost daily. And I use it for our eBay business that we do. And I have ChatGPT create the headlines using the strongest SEO researched opportunities, as well as the descriptions to make sure I move up to the top of any sort of searches on my eBay listings. I would encourage you, at the very least, to put your website into ChatGPT and have it provide feedback to you. So if you've always been someone that said, I don't feel like I'm getting enough traffic, I don't really know what's going on, put your website in there and see what it says. learn, educate, take any part of your business and just see what it says. You don't have to follow it. This isn't someone that's gonna be like 4 days later, like, you didn't do what I told you to do. It's just there to sort of say, here are some ideas, here are some ways that maybe you can change your business and continue to grow. Now, I'm gonna come down here real quick and say, oh, here it is. This is good. So, fingers crossed that I can. First of all, the picture of us got rougher as we went from there. So we were at a winery. What is a quince? What does it look like? I'll put us all up here. Here's a picture of myself and my wife here. Okay, this is a nice. We're at a winery at the Finger Lakes. It was completely gray. We saw 0 lakes, by the way. We drank a lot of wine, but we saw no lakes. So I said, I'd like a picture of a quince and the two of us together. And the picture that it came up with was this. Look at that. That's a quince. That's my wife and I as this beautiful couple with this quince of me. And then I said, oh, make it photorealistic. Terrifying. Absolutely terrifying. The picture that it came up with. But here's this quince with a body. I don't even know where this body. And then the two of us. And my wife's like, keep this picture. I'm like, why do we keep this picture? She's like, I've never seen my hair like this. And I'm giving this. She took it to her hairdresser and he's like, this is the hair I want moving forward. And then I said, can you take us and have some fun? And here's me and her. And again, we're starting to look less and less like we actually do. Here's the weird quince. We have cats. How does it know that? We take photos. It was so weird. There's the wine. And so it's just like, oh my gosh, we're having a blast. And then I said, here we go. Make my wife the happiest that she's ever been. And there's the gentleman. And it put it with her. Look at this. First of all, there's this cat that looks just like our cat. She's having a blast. She's drinking a glass of wine. Who is this guy?
Maybe you can do a reverse image search.
I've only given her given AI pictures of me. So needless to say, that's where we ended up. And of course, the response after it was, take that guy out. And so this is like her. But this picture of her does not look anything like her. So we've sort of degraded as we've continued to go. But in case you're like, oh my gosh, what do Generation Xers do when they're out having fun? That's what we do if they have fun, that sort of thing. Does anyone in this room have any questions for me? Yes, in the back.
Did you use ChatGPT for the images or something else?
Images here on this?
Of your wife with the jets?
Yes, I did. I gave them I put in pictures of the two of us together. That first picture, which was a selfie we took at the winery, is what we put into it. And then it took those pictures and then generated something that we've done. And we've used it a few extra times and that sort of thing.
It sounds like the classic joke of the wife dreaming about you cheating.
Sure.
But it's the opposite. Like, did you question her, like, who this guy was?
Nope. In fact, her response was, that guy was nice. Like, I think she was just excited to have
I'd be happy with him.
I think she was excited that ChatGPT gave her someone who did look good and wasn't like, because it could have just been another picture of me, I guess. We do it sometimes. We've done fun ones where it's like take a picture of us and turn us into Simpsons characters or something along those lines, and we just have fun doing that. We put fun photos of us around the house and that sort of thing. But those are not real pictures. So that's going back to this idea of like making sure that something is real, and that is the biggest conversation you will have with someone. What is real? What isn't real? Are we putting off something that isn't real? And to be completely frank, where was this picture? We've seen it 100 times in our presentations, whatever people give, but that picture of the cat with the Batman, that wasn't real. None of that was real, but felt like we were real because it was part of this presentation. So you're using it as a tool for what you're doing. You're not actually saying like, this is a real picture, or we're kind of going from there. Most of our pictures over the years have been slightly AI generated I would say over the past like 2 to 3 years. We're seeing more and more of it happen. But like, the current pictures that you see on social media, a lot of them are probably AI, not true and that sort of thing. So just be cautious of what you share out there and that sort of thing. Yes?
So I noticed with the podcast clip, it was as slick as the AI generated our bids with little button noses and all. It had like the audio,
Right.
the whole production quality had that. So that's probably a way that we'll be able to tell. Because there were no
Some of it, I mean, you can listen to it.
Yeah, that is like but it's like plugged in there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you can listen to it, you can hear some of the breaks a little bit where like,
you could feel the editing took place where it was like, no, we don't want this. Can we go back and edit this out and change it? You can hear a few of those cuts in there if you're aware. If you're not aware, you're not going to be. It's not going to be something.
But it was way slicker than most of the podcasts that I watch.
Right.
Nice choices.
Oh, sure, absolutely. Yeah. It's polished. It's so much more polished. 100%, yes.
Yeah.
But it is a way for them. The truth is that Google, when they're looking for information to put out there to make sure your SEO is correct, they're going to look at images, they're going to look at your meta and your tags that you've got on there, and then they're going to look at video, and they're going to look at other content to make sure you're being pushed up. And so that's a way for her to have content out there, which will help push her website further up the search engine options. So it's a good tool to use, and nothing is false. It's all true about her information and that sort of thing. So instead of spending the money, especially as a startup entrepreneur, like instead of spending the money on 2 actors and doing it all and buying some of those $25 mics and that sort of thing, they just did it that way. And there was, I think she ended up saying it was like 5 hours or something like that to end up doing it all, because there were some edits and cuts and she wanted to do it a certain way. But I just think that's how great of a use of time versus what may have been 20 hours to try to coordinate it.
In all the retakes.
Correct. And finding someone to edit. I don't know how to do all that stuff. So
AI could do that.
You're very true.
Yeah, AI edits all of our radio shows.
Yeah, and I would encourage you to just type into AI, what are some of the big things happening in my field, in my industry. Just keep up to date with what's going on with all of that. If you own a bookstore, what are some of the big things going on in the book world right now that I need to be aware of? And it just keeps you updated so that you're always on the cutting edge. Now this is the only presentation that I'm excited about, where I look out to the audience and there's a few people on their phones, so I'm like, maybe they're doing the things that we're talking about. Whereas if I was talking about something else and you're on your phones, I'd be like, I've lost them all. That's the end of it right there. Any other questions? What else do we have in our audience? Yes, sir.
Will the system meaning the people and the customer that we're trying to talk to, would the system ever be able to tell whether it's AI generated or wrong?
I think we already know it's AI generated when we're doing it. If we use any chat bots right now, whenever we're on a website and we have questions or something along those lines, 90% of the time we know there's not someone on the other end of that. So they're just pointing us to different elements throughout the website. And then you can, very similar to the old phone prompts, you often have to hit 000 a couple of times until you get to a live person to help you. And so really what it's doing, where those prompts and helpfulness is coming from is, let's say I need a plumber. And I can't use the phone because of the work that I do. I'm in manufacturing or something along those lines. But I want to use a local plumber, and the only time I can call is at 7 or 8, and they're not open. But if I could use a chat bot to say, I need a plumber to come on Tuesday at 7 o'clock, and it schedules it, and then the next day someone calls, that's made my job easier. That's made maybe a customer happen that wouldn't have if they just happened to call and no one was there to answer their phones. So it's really a way of not necessarily replacing the human element, but instead making it so that someone feels like you are already listening, even if it's not happening at that time. And so that's really what we are seeing a lot of it as. Will it evolve to it? Absolutely. I use Spotify for my music right now. They have a Spotify AI right now where you can type in a prompt of the type of music that you listen to, and this voice comes on like a DJ and says, this is what we're going to play next. It's almost like a radio DJ, so to speak of. And so, yes, we're at that point where I know it's AI, but it gives me that warm and fuzzy feeling that it's actually a person out there. So, part of the magic.
I very rarely know that.
I have my AI voice changed to Janet's voice. So
I need to send you a new bill for that.
the only color it says it likes is orange. Any other questions? Yes.
What would be your guys' advice next step to somebody who is having trouble with the saving time piece of it, almost. Like, written everything for Facebook, written everything for emails for years and years and years, gotten used to AI being the one for spell check and grammar check.
Right.
Basically, what all of these tools are doing is doing the opposite. You put in plugs, AI comes, I mean, you have to edit it.
Right.
How is that saving time? Like, what would you recommend?
So, for me, and I'll just go with the way that I sort of work, and again, from what I've heard from other people, is that often when you're sitting down thinking about your idea, you have that sort of idea process, which is you'll sit down, maybe outline it out a little bit, start writing it, go back, maybe go get some coffee, come back to it, make some edits to it. There is a little bit of a longer process, for me at least, when I sit down to write something. For ChatGPT, what I can do is make those prompts more efficient. Like, I need to hit this customer base, I want to talk about this, and instead of me scouring the internet to find that data, it pulls it all together. And so for me, what would take me 3 hours to maybe write is now down to an hour's worth of time. Because when I'm going in, just changing a few of the lines here and there to make it a little bit more personal for me, but at the content, I'm just making sure I read it, make sure it's something that sounds like it's I would write, and then kind of go from there. Statistics, any statistics that I put in there, just go in and check, double check before you put it down. But again, for me, this would take such a long time. Now it doesn't take as long for me on the timelines that I've got. And again, social media, perfect example of that. You have to sit there and sort of say, okay, what am I gonna write? How am I gonna write this? If you type into ChatGPT, I need 5 posts this week. Based on this, can you connect it to some things happening on the calendar, what's going on? It'll create those posts. You go in and edit, it's a lot faster than me sitting there trying to create those posts.
Right.
For me at least. Now for you, you may be able to rush through it, and that's great. I would then take your post that you wrote, put it into ChatGPT and say, how would you enhance it? What would you do differently? Maybe it's not necessarily a time saver like I sort of was yelling about, but instead your second actor, or your second person adding more to that piece. That's how I would look at it as. Like, as an employee, you would be doing it all. So I want my ChatGPT to be the employee that's helping me make sure everything's correct, or that, are there some more newer buzzwords for SEO search that I should incorporate into it? How do I do it? So maybe it's not for you a faster tool, but instead a tool that will help you make sure you're using the cutting edge stuff that's out there, and using those words for a blog post or a newsletter or something like that, that helps you move up the search engine optimization. And I would say, like, especially if you're writing a blog post for your website, and say, can you confirm that this has what I need for search engine optimization to help move that further up the search results? And they'll add some things in there and you'll just incorporate it. So again, I don't know if always it'll be the fastest or saving that sort of time, but it does create an extra layer of support.
It gets you out of your box.
It does. And really what it does is it presents ideas that maybe you would have never thought about. And it puts that into your head to do it. It's like talking to a friend in your same industry that has been doing something different than what you're doing, like a peer group, so to speak. And instead it's like, oh, I never even would have thought about that. There's many times Dale comes into our office and is like, I just put something into ChatGPT and I'm blown away! So I think that's good. You want to have those sort of moments, right?
I think really part of one thought I would chat too is the more you feed it, the more it learns you, and the more it reflects back, so that my sense is that the editing will get quicker and quicker because it's become
aware. Yeah, my response is like, I don't think I've ever given it my name before, but now it says like, hey Andy, it's great to respond back to you. So I assume they think I'm this skinny bearded guy that hangs out with the If anyone needs anything after this, if you leave and you're like, I've got 100 questions, I need to talk to Andy a little bit more, I have probably the best email address at Laurel Ridge. It's just andy@laurelridge.edu. I tell folks that if you ever want to be an employee at Laurel Ridge, but your name is Andy, I'm sorry.
You can't.
It's not going to work enough for you.
We would ask you to please fill out these.
And we have a little survey. Please look. Please, if you. This is the way the surveys work. 5 stars across the board, just go ahead and put it on there. If it's not 5 stars, don't fill it. Just talk to us afterwards, and we'll go through what worked and what didn't. Nikki, any closing remarks you'd like to have?
I think this was wonderful. Thank you, Andy. And
Absolutely.
we look forward to many more opportunities
We have more coming around the bend.
to learn things.
Yes, I'm excited about it. And again, our services are completely free, so don't hesitate to reach out and schedule something with us. And if you want to give me a card or a piece of paper with your email address, I can get this to you probably by this afternoon.
Hey, Andy, real quick, just
Or I can get it to Nikki and she can share it.
for some examples for folks, because, you know, a lot of folks that are sitting in the room here, you know, they had established businesses. They've been in business for a while.
Sure.
And so we're not just talking, for your services in particular, we're not just talking about people who are starting up. We're talking about people, because isn't it true that folks should be refreshing their business plans every so
Business
often?
plan is a living document when you started, I almost can guarantee you, especially for those of you who've been in business for more than 5 years, if you were to go back and look at your business plan right now, you'd be like, ugh, I was so young back then. I had so many different ideas. Because I'm nearly certain that that business is not the business you have today. You listen to customers, you listen to your community, you made some changes, you made some updates, and now you're developing something new and something unique. And so always go back to your business plan and update that. And it's just good to do anyways, especially if you're looking for funding or financing or anything along those lines. The bank's gonna still ask for a business plan, so.
Well, and the environment that we're doing business in today is very different than the environment we were doing business in 5 years ago. And so that, you know, checking in with a professional
Right.
who can look at those things and sort of help you keep
Here we go.
going in the right direction is important.
We are 100% there for you. And again, with 25 centers around the state of Virginia, if I don't have the answer, we will find the answer for you. And I have folks from every facet of small business, which is great to see. And so while many of you will think to yourself, oh, I've just learned about AI, you can give me all the tools, the SBDC is your own AI as well, by the way. So just give us a call and we're happy to help you out. Not sure if that analogy worked, but it sort of worked in a way that I wanted it to. So I'll be your skinny bearded guy, is what I'm trying to tell you. If you need me, I'll be that guy. Thank you all. Thank you, Nikki, for allowing me to. Thank you all.